It's been so long, fixing my hair here in the live. It's been a while since I've done a live. And here I am, back for new information, new perspectives, new inquiry. You're going to see how the YouTube algorithm works, since I haven't been doing videos every day like I did last year. Sorry, I got my hair cut and I'm just trying to figure it out. And I don't know who's going to show up and who's not. So we shall see. My name is Kiana Sage. I guide people to peace. I do this through a process called energy psychology. If you're not familiar, that's not a surprise. Hey, Wendy. Today, I'm going to be talking about, one of the primary things that people resist is waking up. What does waking up really mean? It just means that we're learning new information that is different from what we thought we knew. So it's really challenging the ego mind. And for those of you who listened to many of my videos last year, I really resisted going into the conversation of the mind and the ego, because the ego mind really advocates for status quo, really advocates for keeping things as is and not changing. And that really, I don't want to create resistance within people that I don't already naturally do, which is, we all have gifts. That is one of my gifts, being in alignment with your heart often triggers people in ways that they don't understand. So people tend to resist those people who wake them up. So what is waking up really doing? It's igniting new frequencies. When we are igniting new frequencies, that's not comfortable, folks. It is not comfortable. So it challenges you to look at your life, your lifestyle, your choices, your behaviors, what you're aware of, what you're not aware of, all kinds of things. So I'm curious what questions people might have around creating a new pathway. Hey, DJ, good to see you. Yo. So I usually wait about 5 minutes before I dive into the topic deeply. Hello. Welcome in. Hey, good to see you. I'm trying everything to manifest a date with her. Maybe you're so focused on this one particular female that you're missing out on all the other potentials. So definitely do not stay so focused on one person, because that's going to cut off some other potentials. Hey, Mick, good to see you. Yay, I was hoping you'd be here today. Today I'm talking about, I was going to say waking up is hard to do, but it's really not waking up that's hard to do. It's waking up to a new frequency, and why it makes it hard for people is because it creates a new vibration in which you have to adjust and change. Let me see. Somebody else is saying don't chase. I think that resonance. My husband chased me, so hey, chasing is not optimal if you're not getting the right feedback. So feedback is to be listened to, not avoided. Okay, you know what I forgot? I forgot my special glasses, y'all. I was working on reversing my eyesight, and I have made massive progress. Number one thing that I did, just as a FYI before we get into it, I completely changed how much time I'm spending in front of technology, number one. Number two, I increased my vitamin D, yes, natural vitamin D, out from technology, and I do not need my readers anymore. I'm so excited. And so now I am trying to use my glasses, my blue blocking glasses, to read my phone, and I forgot them today. But anyway, so if you thought it was impossible to reverse things, I'm here to tell you, you can change anything if you have the belief system that supports change. So let's talk about waking up and shifting frequencies. So when you are getting new information, and as we know, we have an information war going on. Thanks, Mick, for your thanks, Virtual. I'm going to stop trying to butcher these names. I'm so sorry. I really do a number on your names. I'm so sorry. Okay, so when we learn new information that is different than what we believe. So let's just say we have a conflict of belief systems. That is going to cause a conflict within or a little shakeup. The problem with people who are struggling in waking up is that there is such a deep attachment to a belief system that has yet to be challenged. Hey, Oliver, thanks for being here and helping. So when our belief systems are being challenged from outside, meaning we get this new information, you're like, I don't know if I want to believe that. And then people stop believing or stop checking. What you want to do is engage your critical thinking, because when you are vibrating at a new frequency, you're going to be resonating differently. So I'm going to give you an example. I had a conversation with somebody last week that was determined that their partner was a narcissist, okay? So whether they are or not, we do know that narcissist behaviors are different than identifying a person with a diagnosis. So a narcissist is a diagnosis that keeps people locked into a story, that keeps you locked into that frequency of resonance. The way that you unhook from a narcissist or the behaviors is to begin to ask questions about yourself. You don't ask questions, why do they do this? That keeps you hooked into a story. And you don't know why, because it's none of your business why people are behaving the way they are. What is your business is how you are reacting and or responding. Responding is the optimal word here, because when you are in a conscious response, that means you're choosing what you are interacting with. When you're reacting, you're just usually triggered, right? So as you can see, the sun is moving. So I'm trying to navigate the sun here. Is that okay? Hopefully that's okay. I didn't want to sit in the sun. Even though getting more sun has been helpful for my eyesight, I'm also just going to take a sip of my tea. So somebody made me this tea set last year, and it's my new favorite way to drink my tea. And right now I'm drinking tea all day long. It's about 35 ounces of tea or more. Anyways, let me see. Hey, Tommy! Is that you or Timothy? Let me see. Oh, I can zoom in on me, which is not very optimal, but I cannot zoom on the comments. Hold on, I'm going to go get my new glasses so I can see if I can read this better. Okay, y'all, I got my blue blockers on now. See if I can read these comments better. It's still the white font that's really hard. Okay, so let's just stay with the story of the narcissist, okay? And because I'm going somewhere here, because this is somebody who is waking up, right? And what was waking them up was a conflict, a behavior of another person that is causing them challenges within. Okay, narcissists, people who are imbalanced in their ego is a better way of putting that. But let's just say they challenge you to go within. And that's really where the healing begins, is to look at how you're resonating. When you are waking up to new information that is different than what you believed, that will cause a conflict in your perspective that ignites and can ignite your internal guidance system. Now, why does it hurt? Why do they say waking up is hard to do? Is because the ego mind is really controlling your thoughts and your behaviors. When you get, let's just say, a conflict, it reverberates within your body and it doesn't feel comfortable. And that's the ignition. The discomfort within is the ignition of a new way. And that must be fed. The reason why waking up is hard to do is because people are so, oh, hey, Tammy. I'm just seeing it's Tammy, not Tommy. So now I see it on my glasses. That's good. Good to see you. What did you say? I'm not, oh gosh. Procrastinating. I don't know. Maybe I need my readers for this white font. I'm so sorry. If you put it in caps, if you have a comment that you want me to put it in caps, I bet you I could read it. Okay, here we go. So, when somebody is resonating and they're in inquiry, that they must make a change. So if you are having a narcissist in your life, then, thanks, Mick, it's going to create a conflict in order to resonate at a higher frequency where you're not engaging and they're not triggering you. And I would caution anybody to not get stuck in the mind saying they don't trigger me. They are in your frequency for a reason. So they, no sorry needed, Mick. But I could read sorry. So there's just certain words. I wonder how the sunlight is impacting that as well. Anyway, so when you have that trigger, that is telling you that something needs to be healed within. However, if you're in denial of it, and many people who have narcissists in their life are in denial and they don't even know it because their ego mind will interface and create a disconnect. And it's our responsibility to reconnect. That's why you want to use the experience of the narcissist to help you heal. And you cannot heal fully and completely if you're denying aspects that are reflecting back to you a frequency that you're still resonating with. Unfortunately, people are in a survival mode. What is survival mode? It is, hey, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yay. When we have our fight or flight on, okay, which often happens when there's new information coming in and we are in disbelief. Trust me, I have had those times. I spent most of COVID untangling some things that I didn't realize I was being triggered by how people treat each other, like how people judge each other. I couldn't believe people were so, I know people are harsh, but how people attack one another is used to really trigger me. Doesn't anymore. Now I am neutral with it, but it took training myself to stay neutral. So I would consciously expose myself to situations I knew would be triggering so I could stay neutral, right? That is a muscle. It's a muscle of the heart to stay open in your heart. When you're in the presence of somebody like a narcissist or somebody who has the tendencies of triggering others, it's difficult to stay neutral if you haven't trained yourself. So that's a training that you want to really create a muscle of the heart of staying neutral. That is not a thought process. That is not a thinking way. That is a being way. So I had somebody also ask me last week, well, Kiana, what's the process for staying in your heart? And nobody's really asked me ever a process for how do you stay in your heart. And I thought, this is how much people have been conditioned and preconditioned to go out of their heart and into their minds, because they think their minds If our minds can understand the process and we can make it logical, then we could do it. But being in your heart is organic. And when you're connected to your inner spirit, it will be super easy to do that. So connect with your inner spirit. Hey, good to see you, Sailor's Life. Well, we are on a different channel now. Good to see you. Good to see you. Any questions about waking up and igniting a new path and what that means for you? I had a couple points I wanted to talk about, which is how much when we wake up to new information, it's real. One of the biggest challenge then becomes, well, our partners or our family, they don't believe what information we've just learned, or they're not aligned to it, or they're not resonating with it, whatever the language is that you want to use. And that becomes a challenge for many of us because we think our job is to tell people this new information because we're so surprised by it. We think they would of course want to know it, but we all wake up at different times, and it's not our job to wake everybody up to our new information. Like what I find fascinating and interesting, the vast majority of people, they don't want to know what it is that I find fascinating and interesting. Not only do they not want to know it, they are resistant to it. So I have developed the habit of asking if I could say something or if people are interested. Even my clients that come frequently, they don't always ask for homework. So I don't always give it to them. I might ask, do you want some homework to work on? Some things to do in your time, or what would you like to do? I always defer to the client to determine their homework. And 90% of the clients that have homework don't necessarily do it because it can be challenging. For those of you who are interested and don't want to do your homework alone, I am going to be offering a class next month. So mark your calendars. It'll be next month. It's going to be on a Saturday, and it is going to be very affordable. And you are going to be able to choose whether you want to do one session or all sessions, but it will be a series. And you could pay one and you can't do another. That's okay. You don't have to do it. You could do it as you want. But you will be learning in a group, which makes doing your homework so much easier because you are going to have other people that are like-minded and wanting to be more conscious. So the process that I'm going to be teaching is about soul lessons, about your monadic lessons, and about life lessons. And not only are you going to be able to have an opportunity to identify them, you're going to have an opportunity to learn and transmute them, which as you integrate and transmute energies, you will then stop having to repeat these patterns that have irritated you over and over again, because you're like, why is this happening again? Which, going back to waking up is hard to do. You might be one of those people that gets hit by a 2x4 figuratively before you get like, okay, this is a pattern. What do I need to learn? So I'm going to be doing that next month. So you're welcome to join me. If this is of interest, please let me know, and I shall invite you. Consider this a personal invite. All right. Thanks, Oliver. What are you saying here? What are some of... Oh, I'm getting hit by the sun here. What are some something... different for many people? What are some of the biggest stages? I really need my glasses for reading this white font. Can you put that in capitals, Oliver? I'm going to have to go get my glasses for this. I really have done good. But clearly, I have not advanced. Okay, igniting a new path can mean something absolutely different for many people. What are some of the beginner stages versus more advanced stages of waking up? Okay, beginner stages of waking up will have to do with, okay, so first of all, you're going to wake up, people are going to wake up in a way that is going to cause an immense amount of pain. When I say pain, I mean physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, or all of them. So sometimes people wake up to a disease or a physical ailment or even a relationship that's changed significantly, maybe a breakup or a divorce or something very challenging that really hurts to see, okay? So that would be a beginning stages of waking up. This is the difference between beginner and more advanced is those who have those situations occur. If they take time to challenge their belief system, or let me just say this, if they just take the situation of dis-ease, which is really discomfort, and look at what do those mean. So if somebody has like a dis-ease, that would absolutely be a vulnerability in the spiritual. So in my world, anything physical that manifests, it began in the spiritual realm. 99% of humanity focus on the physical, not the spiritual. But if that were to be flipped, which is more advanced, and you look for what are the spiritual aspects that are being mirrored back to me. So this goes back to projection, because projection is like there's always a reflection back of something that you need to learn and grow, right? So if you are doing that, that's more advanced waking up. That means that you're consciously choosing to know, see, and experience those things that might be uncomfortable to contend with. Beginner stages is just really sitting in the pain. And those people who know that pain can ignite movement and inspire change and know that they could leverage those painful experiences will grow exponentially fast. So for example, for me, when my mother was passing away, that was hands down one of the most challenging times of my life and also pivotal in growth. Why? Because I chose to use the experience as a learning opportunity versus grieving how most people grieve. I consciously chose to grieve differently because I knew if I did the grieving process as I had seen it in others, that I could literally lose like parts of my well-being. Because you would plummet into a depression, into despair. You could do all of those things. And I just really wasn't willing to give up any aspect of living my life fully to that programming. And I do think that there's a lot of programming that we are not conscious of. And therefore, when we don't challenge these preconditioned ways of doing things, then we get stuck in doing cultural behaviors that do not support our ability to align to a spirit, our inner spirit. Does that answer your question, Oliver? I know it's kind of long-winded. Let me just put my glasses on to see what this other question was. How do we know when the new path is a good one? Ooh, how do we know when a new path is a good one? Well, that would depend on, are you open to learning? Because if you're on a new path, you're going to have new learning, okay? And if you are open to a new path and you're open to learning, well, then you'll be able to discern by your vibration. So not all paths are created equal, right? But how do you know if something's good? You're using discernment, right? And you're using judgment. Good and bad is judgment. So I would say, how does the new path feel in your body besides uncomfortable? Because new is often uncomfortable. How does it feel in your body? So I'll give you an example of what I did with one of my clients last week. And there was a bunch of colors that emerged, and I suggest everybody just choose a color. This is such a basic and fundamental way to just explore experientially. Experientially means through your own experience. Explore how you would be as a particular color. So for example, let's just say your favorite color. Give me one of your favorite colors. Somebody give me your favorite color. Favorite color, anybody? What's your favorite color that you would want to be? Okay, very interesting. Blue. Okay, so let's just say you are the color blue. So I want everybody who's here with me right now, or if you're watching on the record, what your blue color. I want everybody to practice just being the color blue. Now imagine the variations of blue. Is it bright? Is it dull? What's the texture of the blue? So I just want you to imagine the vision of that color blue. Is it vibrant? Is it vibrating? Look at the textures and tones of this color blue and how many variations that you are seeing, because what you're seeing and what I might see might be different. So I want you all to see and envision this beautiful, amazing frequency, by the way, because colors are frequencies. When you are seeing this frequency, you are seeing a frequency of blue. So everybody imagining their colors of blue, how it's showing up for you. And now I want you to take it in your imagination. I want you to bring it closer in your field. So bring it right in front of you. Okay? This is something that everybody can do. Bring that color. Hey, Elliot, good to see you. Hello, my friend. So as you're bringing that color now ask yourself, did you notice something changing with that color blue as it got close to you? What did you notice within yourself? Just take note of it, okay? You don't have to do anything, but use your awareness. That's all we're doing here, is amplifying our conscious awareness of this color blue in your field, because you now took it from out in your imagination. We're now bringing it into you closer, okay? And I need to move spots because the sun is like really bothering me right here. Okay. All right. So I'm just relocating, sorry. Okay, so now everybody, and I can actually read the comments here. This is amazing. So I have my blue glasses and I can read. So it was the lighting makes all the difference. So excited my vision's coming back. Okay, y'all. So you have the blue right in front of you. Everybody's got an awareness of this color blue, how it shifted. If you noticed, it shifted from far away, now in your imagination, now it's in your field, okay? So now I want you to invite that frequency, that color of blue, inside of your heart, okay? And I want you to have an awareness of that blue being inside of you. Okay, blue is a very high frequency. Every color has a multi-dimensional frequency. So just bring it into your heart. Okay. Now notice what you notice. Now some of you might notice something very specific, but I want you to focus on the subtleties of that frequency, that color blue coming within you. So I'm just going to do it here myself and notice what I notice. And the first thing I notice is a lightness. right? So notice if you feel something light or heavy, or if you feel that color moving. Okay? Now, notice, somebody help me out here. Who said blue first? Blue. It is Rosa. Rosa. Good to see you, Rosa. Rosa, tell me. I see blue ocean. Inside of you? Is the ocean inside of you? Tell me, Rosa, what you noticed distinctively different within you when you brought that color of the ocean, which is, you know, depending on what you're seeing, the ocean will be different for everybody because we all have a different experience of the ocean, right? And there's so many variations of blue within the ocean. So Rosa, I really want to challenge you. Tell me what you noticed when you brought that ocean blue within you. What was the first thing you noticed? Rosa, are you still here? Oh, I think there's a delay. Okay. Blue bubbles. Okay. I want you to focus on not what the blue is doing. This is very good, so I really appreciate you sharing. Not what the blue is doing, but how the blue bubbles within you makes you feel. What are you noticing within you? Like, I have my own idea of what bubbles would create within me, but what they create within me might be different for you. So I want you to get really specific. And how does it feel to have blue bubbles going on within your body? So let me hear what you say, Rosa. And Oliver, I think you chose blue too. So you feel free to choose to chime in here as well. They are wasting away some bad stuff. Okay, so they're washing away some bad stuff. So you feel circulation. Okay, Rosa? That's Hey, Eric, good to see you, my friend. Oh, long time. Hello, hello, hello. So when you are bringing in that circulation, imagine if you were walking around all day with this high frequency of circulation, right? So you could practice with any color. So, but you want to bring in circulation. Why? Now, you brought it in with just a color. Not everybody's going to feel the same thing, but you're saying you feel circulation. And so what you want to do is begin to feel how life could be different when you're circulating from the inside out, because the inner world creates the outer world. You're becoming more and more blue. So it's increasing, Rosa, as you are becoming more attuned to it. So what you feed grows. So this is really interesting. And I've said this before to people, feed what you want to grow. So you're feeding that frequency and it's becoming stronger. And I suspect the color is changing. It's becoming magnified, right? So this is how we magnify frequencies, right? So you go from, it's so interesting. So this is just a little example of how you can experiment with your own self as a frequency modifier because we are frequencies. So going back to igniting, acknowledging change, igniting awakeness within us. How awake do you feel, Rosa, now that you have this blue circulating and magnifying within you? Do you feel more vitality, more energy, more creative? Because this is you connecting with your multidimensional aspects. It's not complicated. It's just not common that we speak of these things. You feel more alive. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yes. So imagine, like visually, if you just look at a color spectrum, our eyes don't even pick up the magnitude of color spectrums that are available, right? We have filters, right? I have a filter on right now. And so when you are imagining, when you're feeling frequencies, you will notice the shift within. What I would suggest is that you start to experiment, Rosa, with just walking around as blue within you. How do you, and take notes. What do you notice is different about you? How do you perceive things differently? How do you feel differently about what it is that you're perceiving? How do you, what do you notice that happens emotionally? What do you notice that happens to your thoughts? Do you think differently? Do you feel differently? What do you notice with your spiritual aspects that, you know, these are just different ways that we can begin to explore experientially our own abilities to transform ourselves. Because the body is a conduit in which we vibrate change. And the change that we want to see is always going to begin within. So when we're talking about waking up and igniting, we want to shift the questions that we're asking to within. Everything is more positive, beautiful. So remember, positive and negative is the mind coming in and judging. But when you're just looking at blue and you're just no judgment of blue and you just give your attention to the blue within you, you can start to magnify that. And yes, I would agree. There is a frequency that I do when I have clients sometimes, and I bring in this this very high frequency and vibration of blue, and it literally can vibrate your entire energy field. And it can, like you were noticing, shake off density. Cool. Okay, let's see. Any questions? Our body is a cage of our soul. Well, I would not use the term cage. I would use vehicle, but okay. Ask your soul body and it will recalibrate. Is that what you're saying there? And yes, we have the propensity to recalibrate always. And what you're bringing up is conscious intention can shift our resonating frequency. True. But when we're talking about just waking up, a lot of people find it challenging to wake up because they're not acknowledging the ignition that the discomfort shows us. So when we feel discomfort, we don't want to always go into, well, why am I feeling discomfort? What do I need to learn from this discomfort? What do I need to learn from this situation? What do I need to learn from this relationship? What do I need to learn? All right. Well, we appreciate different perspectives here. I just think that the body vehicle has been misunderstood by the vast majority of humanity, specifically those who are programmed to think that we're just this physical body. And a lot of physical trainers, you know, they very prescriptive. And that really takes out our ability to resonate with things that are different than what we think they should be, right? So our thoughts dictating our reality versus our resonance. So our thoughts are very strong, but those thoughts are always going to be connected to a belief system. And oftentimes those belief systems have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And we really need to start to question, use our critical thinking. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that activity. That was a fun one. So I want to talk about lifestyle real quick, because when we're igniting and waking up, it might challenge our lifestyle. And our lifestyle might be different than our partners or relationships that we're with. So your job is not to wake up your partner, although you might feel like that's your job, it's going to cause them a lot of discomfort when you're pushing your thoughts, your beliefs, your new awarenesses onto them. So what I would suggest is it's okay, to share from your perspective is very, very helpful. But if your perspective is filled with judgment, that's not going to be helpful to invite other people along with you, okay? So you might want to look at bringing in the exercise that we just did, which is the color. Be the color that you picked for that day, let's say blue or pink or orange or fuchsia, whatever color. It doesn't matter what color you choose, whatever you're resonating with on that day, right? So if you're bringing that in, what I would offer to you is be that color in your relationship and see how the communication is different, improved, changed for the better or not. Okay? So practice shifting as the color, not as what you think, because what you think the color will be and what the color experience is different, right? So if you did that exercise, Rosa, you were saying you felt more vibrant, more alive. Well, that was because you were willing to have an experience of the color versus what do I think this color is going to be like. You want to get rid of your thoughts, take your thoughts out of it and get present to your heart, get present to your body, and that will guide you better. Imagine your conversations will be very different if you're feeling more alive, right? If you're feeling more positive and optimistic, right? And then you're going to choose, if you're feeling more alive and you're feeling more positive, that's going to directly influence your behaviors, and that's going to directly influence your alignment. Ultimately, creating and getting on a new path is about alignment. And alignment is always going to be the determination between a healthy relationship, a good communication. It's going to be whether you get a higher paying job, people who want a new job, everything comes down to alignment. You might think it's about having a good resume, but if your resume is not resonating at the frequency of alignment to a new job or to a higher pay, it's not going to happen. It's a reflection of your resonance. That's what a resume is. If you take my class, Careers in the New Paradigm, you will learn about that. I give some very practical skills on that. Anyways, any questions? Kiana, how have you been? Eric, thank you for asking. How have I been? Well, I did a cleanse last month, and it completely changed. I'm on a tea right now, but it completely changed how I feel. I feel amazing. So thank you for asking, Eric. I feel good. And I have another cleanse next month. So I'm always looking to adjust the frequency of my physical vehicle to a higher vibration. How will you make synergy with other people's determination? Well, don't focus on what other people are doing because that's none of your business, right? And why would you want to guess what the synergy would be? Wouldn't it be better to experience it? Right? I think part of the preconditioning of the mind is to try and figure out how will people respond to me if I pretend like I'm blue and I know that I'm blue inside, or I'm running this frequency? Like, how will people respond to me? Why don't you just see how you respond to you, what you notice? Because when you're noticing what other people are responding to, that will be information for you to adjust and change, right? How to deal with other people's limitation. Is that limitation? Intimidation? Yeah, how to deal with other people intimidating you? Is that what you're saying? How to deal with people who are intimidating you? Well, why would you allow somebody to intimidate you? So whatever you are in agreement with will occur. So if you have people that are intimidating you, then you have gone into agreement with that. And that's definitely going to come down to your alignment with your intention and your consent. And that's a universal law, right? So you want to look at, what are you in alignment with? Why would you be in alignment with intimidation? Although there are lots of people that can be intimidating. People say, I'm intimidating. I don't think I'm intimidating. Hello, Amsterdam. Amsterdam, hello. Good to see you. So if you are, just know that everything is in agreement, everything is in alignment, and if you're experiencing something that you don't like, which is a judgment, that's not feeling good, then you now have a conscious choice to shift that. Are you making the conscious choice to shift that, Rakesh? Are you? Okay, y'all. Synergy and alignment. And alignment often comes to your awareness through misalignments, right? So you don't want to ignore those things that you don't like. You want to notice them so you don't continue that pattern. Hold on, I'm going to open the window over here. Looks like the sun is starting to creep over here again. So what do you think? I'm hot. Any questions about what I've talked about today? It's been fun. We've had people popping in and out. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. I come on here every once in a while to do live videos. Next month, I'm doing a whole series on soul lessons, life lessons, monadic lessons, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be for those who sign up, though. So alignment is always going to be determined by your conscious awareness. What I perceive as alignment for my clients is different than that what they perceive. So every session, people are expanding their conscious awareness around different ways in which we are aligned. Because alignment, everything is geometric patterns. Everything is numbers and math, and how good are you in these things? Okay, how do you break free emotionally of bad patterns? Well, first of all, I would say, thank you for the question. And number one is, well, we don't want to judge patterns as bad or good. So anything that we're judging will create greater resistance, okay? So if we are judging something as bad or as good, it doesn't necessarily help us shift it because we're creating a resistance in our perception. So give me an example of a pattern that's a bad, what you're perceiving as a bad emotion. Because from my perspective, emotions are just needing to be acknowledged and witnessed, not judged. So we might have a different, Rosa, we might have definitely a different approach. I don't see emotions as being bad as much as needing to be acknowledged. I think our thought processes about our emotions can be detrimental to our health and well-being. So can you give me an example, Rosa? It's a really good question, but can you give me an example of an emotional bad pattern that you're perceiving? Okay, and then Rakesh is saying, hi Rakesh, it's been a while, it's good to see you here. I heard somewhere that education can be done only once. Okay, hold on. I heard somewhere that education can be done only once. Throw some light in this topic. Can we get educated at any age? I think, Rakesh, that's a good question. Number one, learning is a value. Like, that's one of the things. What do you value, Rakesh? Like, I was telling my husband yesterday, I love learning. I am learning new things all the times. There is one friend that I talk to that I learn a different thing about this person every time I speak with them. I love learning. So that's a high value for me. So I think you can learn all the time. And I learn from people that have different perspectives than I all the time. That's how I learn the most. So, do you value learning, and do you value learning from people who trigger you? And that's who you're going to learn the most from. There are some people that will inspire learning more than others. For me, I love learning. I love teaching. I love sharing. I love how quickly we can expand through our perceptions. Rosa is saying, so Rakesh, anytime you are willing to learn, the old saying, when you are ready, the teacher appears, right? And do you judge your teachers? Like, sometimes your teachers might be a trigger. And can you embrace being triggered? Because that's going to challenge you emotionally, but it's going to challenge you emotionally in a way that makes you more emotionally resilient and mature. Okay, so let's see. Rosa, being in a bad relationship, but still loving the person. So that's a very interesting thing. Being in a bad relationship is a thought. Okay. Loving is a freedom. So there's some part of you that believes, so Rosa, part of your emotional challenge is connected to your belief system. Can you grow in this relationship by letting go of the beliefs that you have about this person? The answer is yes. So challenge yourself to let go of your belief system, because your beliefs are what's keeping you in what you see as a bad relationship. And it may be a horrible relationship, but either way, whatever you are experiencing in the present moment is a resonance. That means that you're resonating with it. You're resonating with everything in your experience until you go out of agreement with it and decide to change it. I hope that helps you, Rosa. Mick says we're not dogs. No, we're not dogs. Okay. Isn't our soul a guide to a mathematical world? Too much and emotional bonding makes someone wrong alignment in life. Well, wrong or right is, again, a judgment, right? So we want to get out of judgment. And I don't know what your name is. Can't see if that letter is. So let me just say this. Our soul is a guide when we're in connection to our soul. But how many people are in connection with their inner spirit? How many people are in connection with their soul? I mean, think about it. I work in this realm of the spiritual. I work in energy. And how many people are in connection with their soul? Very few. Does that mean that our soul gives up? No. But when we have a disconnection to our soul, we will be led astray, and we will have what you're calling wrong alignment. I'm just calling a misalignment, because in our life review, which we will have, sometimes we have that when we're awake and aware. Like I've had a life review, and you go past into timelines to heal them. There's no bonding with that. And I don't know that our soul is intended to be here for a reason, right? It came here consciously, like there was a conscious choice to come here in this life and to have experience. But a lot of people are so disconnected from their purpose that they are misaligned. Emotional bonding, trauma bonded, all kinds of bonding, all of that is inorganic. But as you become more connected within, you will realign for sure. Mick says, you see a lot of people as they get older taking on new interests, which is learning new things. Yeah, I think, Mick, a lot of people get to a certain age and they decide they don't want to do something that they've done for a long time. It could be that. It could just be lifestyle choices. It could be programming, midlife crises. Again, going back to Oliver's question, what causes the awakening is usually some kind of pain. Hello, nobody. Good to see you here, my friend. Love seeing you here. We've missed you. Oh, good, Rosa. I'm glad that was helpful. It's very unknown cyber. Okay, thank you. It was hard to read that font. I think learning is something, when I would suggest, as I do every time I come on here, everybody should know what their top 5 to 10 values are. Your top 5 values. You should know them. They should be like imprinted within you. And your values change as you change. So for me, learning is a high value. My husband has that as his value as well. What does that mean in our life? It means we like to explore new things. We go to new restaurants. We go on new vacation spots. We meet new people. We talk about what we learn from people that we've talked to. We talk about what we learned about ourselves that day. All kinds of things. I learn every day. And every day you should be learning. Like I'm learning how to plant plants now. I've always had plants, but I've never planted the type of plants that you eat. I've got my mint going now, and I've got scallions. Anyways, Unknown Cyber, thanks for being here. Mick, no, we're not rude here. We're all honest. We're just being honest. And our perception of being rude is our own judgments, right? Rude is what? If it's honest, it's not rude in my mind. It doesn't mean I have to like it. But our liking and disliking, those are preferences. Okay, y'all, 2 minutes left, and I've been on here an hour. Let's see, any questions? Kiana, can you tell some habit action that can greatly help reaching higher frequency due to an anxious lifestyle attachment? I ruined my life completely and I stand in a minus, not even 0. Well, first I would say, Rakesh, new beginnings every single day. What is look at your life as a new beginning. Each day is a new beginning. Each moment is a new beginning. So I'd offer that to you. Okay. So how you perceive the new beginning will determine it, but every day. So starting from 0, And with a good attitude is better than starting from 100 with a crappy attitude, okay? So you can do anything when you change your attitude within. That's number one. Rakesh, I would go back to the video after I'm done here, and there's an exercise that I did with everybody. I would practice the embodiment of colors so you can feel what it feels like to be at a higher frequency, okay? The other thing I would say, Rakesh, that if you want to raise your frequency quickly, you want to connect with your inner spirit every single day throughout the entire day. Consciously connect with your inner spirit every single day would be the number one thing. The number two thing, if you want to raise your frequency, get off of Wi-Fi, get off of your technical things, get out into nature without being on your phone, get out in the sun, and make sure you're getting vitamin D. I will say, without wearing these glasses, and it's this white font, make it challenging to read. But hopefully by the end of the year, I will be reading this without my readers. I have increased my vision exponentially by just getting more vitamin D from the sun and changing my my environment, okay? So you could do a lot with changing your environment. So I would look at those things. Hopefully that's helpful, Rakesh. And I would say the fact that you're here, the fact that you're asking questions about new beginnings, I would drink your tea or your coffee in the morning, whatever you consume, and say to new beginnings, and like feel your inner spirit wanting to ignite a new path for you. And if you did that every day for 30 days, I bet you at the end of 30 days, you would have a different story to tell me. Okay? So let me know what your thoughts are. Rakesh, pardon my bad grammar. No, oh, okay. Well, get that laptop off your chest, Rakesh. You don't need all that EMF going into your body. Nobody says to live a fulfilled life, we need to keep creating what is next of our lives. Without dreams and goals, there's no living, only merely existing. And that's not why we are here. Interesting. Our dreams change as we change. I'm very different than I was, gosh, a year ago. I learned so much from meeting you all last year. Attitude. You all, it is so important to look at the things that you are doing and notice how it feels within your body. We are so connected electronically that sometimes we have to do a disconnect and reset within our body. If you have anxiety, I will guarantee you being on your computer, Rakesh, is magnifying that lower frequency. It is not high. So you could ask a question and not be looking at me and still hear the answer. So stop with being that connected all the time to your computer. That's what I would say. Thank you so much. Eric, it's so good to see you. Rosa, I love how lovely you all are to each other. Nobody, thank you for being here. It's been so long since I've seen you. I miss you all every day. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing a class on Saturdays. It's going to be very affordable so that everybody can learn their life lessons, their soul lessons, their monadic lessons, and we'll do it in a very small group so you will have a chance to talk and actually learn. You're going to learn your real life lessons, your real soul lessons, so you can stop repeating those painful patterns. Rosa, it might help you as well. If we're in a bad relationship, what do I need to learn from this relationship? Okay? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I look updated and fresh. Oh, thank you. I've changed. I've changed. I feel updated and fresh. I will tell you that doing a cleanse every year completely resets me. Last year I didn't do a cleanse or a purge. This year I did one already, and I'll do another one next month. So I feel my intuition is more dialed in. My everything just feels so much more aligned. What kind of cleanse? Well, I go off of, so it's very simple, but it's different for every time. So vegetables, I pretty much go off all meat, all dairy, all stimulants. So no coffee, no alcohol, no anything if you have those things. No sweets. So basically that's the prep. And then once you get to cleanse day, which is usually a purge, this is Ayurvedic care. So you will I did a basti this time. So I did a heart basti and a navel basti, a belly basti. And that's to help open up the higher heart, and the navel is to help with all kinds of things, but certainly realigning your metabolism and also hormones and also how you digest. So really going deep into the mitochondria shifts. And so I do that. And then, so you're basically once you've done the prep for the purge, you're basically on a fast until you finish the treatment, which is the basti, is what I did. And then you get an enema, which is filled with all kinds of herbs that are specific to yes, it's a detoxification, yeah. And specific to whatever things you're working on. For me, I'm working on releasing, heavy metals and toxicity, because any of you who have been following me know that I get a heavy metal test done every year, and I looked and I adjust my diet to purge those heavy metals out. So you do an enema, and then you can have congee, which is just rice. Depending on your system, you can have khichdi. Just depends. Some certain vegetables, some vegetables that are cooked a particular way, but it's really a bland diet for like 2 to 3 days. And I do that 2 days in a row. This time I did 3 days in a row. Then I'm back to eating regular foods. Right now, I have 45 days between the last cleanse and the next cleanse. And I will do a different basti. I'm going to be... Oh, Ra's barking at them, delivery. I will do a different kind of basti next time. It's going to be a spinal one. So, anyways... Any questions? Khichdi is my favorite. I'm not a fan of khichdi, I have to be honest. I think it's a cultural thing. I don't think I cook the best khichdi, but I don't eat any potatoes, so potatoes aren't in mine. I liked khichdi when it had potatoes in it, but that's not a part of my diet. Primarily because potatoes can be very inflammatory, and also they can age you. Yeah, good for you. It is a detoxification for sure. And specifically, I'm working on detoxing something that's not common in the media, which is radiation. Also known as uranium, right? That shows up in the heavy metal test. Anyhow. All right, you all, that's a little bit about me. It's so fun to see you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Eric, Rakesh, Mick, Rosa. Who else did I miss? Nobody. Thank you so much for being here. You all are just amazing beings, and I love sharing with you. If you would like to learn more, you could always reach out to me. I love your questions. Until next time, see you all. Namaste. Bye.